Some weeks feel planned and some weeks just happen. And this was one of those weeks. I finished a book that surprised me and I couldn't start the one I intended to read next, and I ended up diving into a completely different direction. So today we're talking about chaos, both fictional and technological, and why I'm suddenly reading back-to-back time travel stories. So this week I finished The Warrior's Apprentice by Lewis McMaster Bujold. This is the second book in the Verkozigen saga in publication order. And this one was very different from Shards of Honour, which is the book I did a review on this week. The first book felt very tight and focused, a military sci-fi story with strong political tension and a central relationship driving everything forward. And this book shifts the spotlight completely to Miles, the son of the main character of the first book. And that immediately changes the tone and energy. Miles is chaos in human form, in the best and the worst ways. He's brilliant, ambitious, and desperate to prove himself, and constantly making decisions that spiral out of control. And a lot of the story is basically watching him try to fix problems that he accidentally created 5 minutes earlier. It makes for a very fast-paced and often entertaining read. There's a kind of momentum to it that keeps you turning pages because you just want to see how on earth he's going to get out of the next situation. That said, I did feel like it was slightly less in everything compared to Shards of Honour. Less emotional depth, less weight, and less of that grounded tension that made the first book feel very real and mature. This one leans more into adventure and personality, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, it just didn't hit me quite as hard. And I think part of it is that Shards of Honour felt very focused, and this one feels more episodic at times. Things escalate quickly, sometimes almost absurdly, which fits Miles' character, but it also makes it feel a little lighter. Still, it's very enjoyable, and I'm definitely continuing the series. Miles is such a strong and unique character that I'm curious to see how he develops. And I can imagine this series getting better and better as he matures, or at least becomes more controlled in his chaos. And next up I was planning to start Sheep Farmer's Daughter, but that didn't exactly work out. I borrowed it from the library digitally, and for some reason it just wouldn't load into my Kindle app. I tried everything, restarted the app, synced everything again, checked the download, nothing. I kept getting an error message. So I sent a message to the library, but I haven't heard back yet, which is slightly frustrating, especially when you're ready to start something and then technology just says no. So at the moment I honestly don't know how that's going to continue. I'll wait and see if they respond, and if not, I might just have to get a physical copy or find another way to read it. But I didn't want to stall my reading completely, so I picked something else up. And in the meantime, I started Replay by Ken Grimwood. And I'm really enjoying this one. It has such a simple but powerful concept. A man relives his life over and over again, but with full memory of what happened before. And what would you change? What would you fix? Would you try to become rich? Would you try to prevent disasters? Or would you just live differently? What surprised me is how introspective it is. It's not flashy time travel with complicated mechanics. It's more about identity, regret, second chances, and the weight of memory. and there's something slightly melancholic about it. It feels reflective. And it's also interesting because I usually gravitate more toward big epic fantasy or space opera, and this is much more grounded, much more personal, and I like that change of pace. I'm still early in it, but it already feels like one of those books that sticks with you. And next up, after that, I will read Time and Again by Clifford Simek. Now, I didn't plan this at all because I've run out of books from my February TBR. So I had to pick something. And I wanted to read Simek because I haven't read anything by him before and now felt like the time to do so. And so somehow I moved from a reincarnation time loop story now to another time travel novel. And it'll actually be interesting to compare them. Different decades, different authors, and probably very different approaches to the same idea. And since I like reading in publication order generally, it's always interesting to see how older sci-fi handles concepts that have become more common later. And as for other channel updates, last week I uploaded 2 videos. First, the Filmtastic February Tag, which was honestly just a lot of fun. And tags are always a bit more relaxed, less structured, more conversational, and it's nice to step away from some more prepared videos sometimes and just talk more freely. And I also did my review of Shards of Honour. That one took a little bit more preparation. I wanted to do it justice, especially since I enjoyed it so much. And structuring it, balancing an analysis without overcomplicating it, that's always the challenge, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I think I'm slowly finding a rhythm with these reviews. And for next week, I've got another tag planned, keeping things varied, and then the bigger project, my review of Mobilization by Yoshiki Tanaka, the 5th book in the Legend of the Galactic Heroes. And this time that review will be structured very clearly in 2 parts. The first half completely spoiler free, so even if you haven't read the series yet, you'll be able to watch that part safely and get an idea whether it's for you. And the second half will be full spoilers, and that's where I really want to dive into it, because there's a lot to talk about in the book, especially in terms of stakes and developments in the series. So that's the plan moving forward. Reading wise, things are going well. Channel wise, steady progress, and we'll just keep going. Anyway, that's all for this week. Let me know what you've been reading this week, and I'll hope to see you again in the next video. Bye.